Hello and welcome, you are gaming with me, Brothgar, and today I have some Loadout weapon crafting action for you. Now today's recommendation comes from Jack Fraz. Now Jack Fraz here has recommended a weapon called the Lightning Effect. And let me go on over here and show you what it is all about. Alright, so this is a weapon that is definitely going to be good for the noob crowd, and we're going to see how it performs with the more experienced crowd here pretty soon. Now this stock is a little bit different than what I was running way back in beta, if you guys were watching back then, which was called Mondo Broth. That's why I've called it this, because it reminds me so much of it. However, what he has here is a dampening stock, so you're going to be getting a little bit more control out of it, as opposed to a standard stock. That's an upgrade over basically nothing. And then the scope here can be just plain iron sight, so this is a very cheap build. However, again, we're going to be talking about Loadout 5.0 and you'll be getting dropped, so you'll probably have a scope to put on there. At any rate, the barrel is going to be a light assault, which is a very, very happy medium weapon. You wouldn't really want to use Gatling as much because Gatling has a very quick drop off. Light assault's going to give you some decent range out of this weapon here. It also is going to have a full auto trigger, and then he's recommending that he actually runs with a standard magazine over the high capacity magazine. Now we'll test both of them out here real quick here in the range, but the key here is that we're using the Tesla rounds. Alright, so here we have a couple of players out there and they're pretty decent range. We're going to see just how much control we have. I should be able to hold the trigger without moving the mouse at all and just be able to hit the target all day long. And you can see there it does drift up slightly, but that's definitely going to be something that's going to be easy to control. So just a little bit of hold down there, and you're able to hold it right on the target at that range. Obviously, if we extend things out here, actually I have sprint on the movement keys right now, and I'll be showing you how to turn that on or off. So if we extend the range a little bit further, you'll notice that it gets a little bit harder to hold it on the trigger there. However, we're able to drop that target with no problems at all. Well, so let's go to a closer range here and just see how many bullets it takes. At 52, well, this is kind of a close range. This is more of an acceptable range, really. We're going to see just how many bullets it takes to take down the target here. Again, this is going to be good against people with shields because it is Tesla rounds. It's going to take a little bit more than half a magazine from this range right here to drop a target. So just to kind of let you know, it's pretty much going to be one mag per target depending on where they're moving. But the real key here is that you don't have to hit the target straight up. So you're definitely going to want to aim down sights at them with the dampening stock as opposed to compact. But even if they're moving around, if you're kind of aiming a little bit more at their feet there, you're not only going to be doing damage to them, but you're doing damage to the people around them. So that's where this real weapon has its ability to spread that damage, even if you are missing targets. So even this is a good option. It's a little less damage than, say, just plain slug rounds. But at the same time, you kind of gain that ability to get that arc effect. I mean, look at how far I'm able to point away from and then still hit them. Now, obviously, I'm not doing a lot of damage to them, but if they were pretty close to dying, a missed round could be all it takes for the player to get away, and it's going to be a lot harder to miss with these rounds as opposed to slug rounds. So, that's one good way to think about it. However, let's go ahead and test this out with the high capacity magazine just to see if we can down 2 targets with 1 mag. And if we can, then we could say maybe the high mag is the way to go as opposed to the light. Well, these players here have already started off with a little bit of damage on them. And I only went through half my bullets, so I'm going to wait till they respawn. And as you can tell, they're the other standard magazine out of a little bit more than 50 bullets. That's because it's upgraded. And we'll see how that all works out in the 5.0 update. But right now we have 2 players, 2 Helgas right there. We're going to shoot this one in the butt. So you're doing 3 damage, and the other is arcing over there. That was less than 50 bullets. And there you have it. You can down 2 targets with 1 magazine. And as I was playing with Mondo Broth here, basically the lightning effect back in beta, I'm going to say that, yeah, you know what? I'm probably going to run with a high capacity magazine on this rifle just because that's what I've always found to work out pretty good for me. This does do pretty good from the hip. If you're up close, you have to be pretty close, like this range right here. You kind of go a little bit farther and your bullets start going stray. And then you might be thinking, well, if you're shooting from the hip a lot, you might want to throw a compact stock on there as opposed to dampening. But realistically, I mean, you can reliably put down damage at a long range with this weapon, with that dampening stock. Again, it's not the most powerful weapon in the game, but it's definitely one that's going to be very reliable for you, and a very good way to start off the game if you have no weapon builds and these are the only components you got. This is going to be a really good weapon for you. So that is Mondo Broth, that's what I'm calling it. And the other weapon that I'm going to be showing you guys today is called Semi Broth. Now this isn't technically a gun that anybody has actually recommended, This is a gun that has, I don't know, it's one of those guns that I've thought, well, I've never really tried a weapon just like this. The LMG barrel is one of those barrels that just falls in a weird place. However, if you put it with semi-auto and slug loading, so we say shell loading, you come up with a really kind of weird weapon. Now this weapon does 20 damage a hit. From there, you hit the head. If you can hit it, you're going to get 27. So realistically, you're doing body shots. But you noticed that, yeah, you're doing body shots. You are looking down the scope of a bioscanner right there. And that bioscanner is going to point out any weak targets. So this is a good way, if you see a target that's kind of being assaulted from a long range and you really need to assist them from a far away, this weapon here is going to be able to fill that gap. So we're going to see how this weapon works out tied in with Mondo Broth. I might be a little bit weak. I might not be able to throw down as much DPS as what other people are doing here. But if I play the weapons right, the weapon build should go pretty good. So that is semi-broth there. And I'm actually going to come in here and I'm going to show you from key bindings, you can actually take sprint and bind it to W. Now, some people like this. I prefer actually having it just on the standard, shift command right there. Because I like to be able to move a little bit slower like this. Because then you don't show up on radar. When you're sprinting all the time, you're always going to be on radar. Now, some people say you don't look at the radar that much, but I say, you know what? I like to be able to have that ability to kind of sneak up on people. Not to mention, I'm pretty used to using the shift key, and I pretty much tend to hold it down all the time anyhow. So, at any rate, the loadouts I'm running today is going to be pretty standard. It's just going to be like health packs and or personal shield, Mondo Broth, and then semi-broth. And then I threw in a brim broth just for the sake of adding something that has a very large splash damage. Big one-hit wonder type deal. So let's head into some fights here and see how it works out in some matches. Extraction in the brewery, baby. Let's make it happen. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Elbows. Elbows. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Oh, scoring it out big right off the bat. Oh, no. Oh, no, I'm on fire. And I'm dead. All right. So, Mondo Broth here. Jack Frad's weapon. Let's see if it can actually keep up with these higher-end players right now. Now, this is a different game mode than normally I've played here, and this is going to be actually a real good test. This is a weapon that is probably going to be pretty good on this game mode, just because people are going to be more spread out. And I'm going to be able to like divide them up. It's going to play pretty good. Because all I've been playing here recently, all people have wanted to do is blitz. I mean, I haven't been able to get anything but blitz stuff. Oh, man. That elbow coming in. Looks like we got some lower pings right now. That was a bit of rubber banding right there. One nice thing about this gun is that it's really good at lighting up that plutonium which is on the ground, which are the things you end up picking up. Woo, fighting them off. We're going to clean them up right here. Not able to connect with that. Come on. Oh my gosh. Wow, I missed that opportunity real bad. But then again, there it is. Alright, 400 to 700. I really need to assault and defend right now. Which is basically everything all at once. Not throwing down a lot of damage. What I really need to worry about is like lighting up that plutonium. That's the real trick. It's kind of weird, getting weird with those elbows. Wonder what the ping is we got going on. Tends to happen that way. Semi-broth, doing all right. Let's aim it actually from the. There we go. Look at that. You can really melt somebody down with that. The real trick though is going to be moving somebody on the go here. You got to do it while you're aiming down sight. Not able to do a ton of damage to that guy. Woo! You really got to focus to make semi-broth work. All kinds of stuff lighting up in here. This does a good job at softening people up for that elbow. Sometimes you don't kill them. You can really soften them up though. Now right there you can kind of see how the damage he had a slug round, I had a Tesla round, and he was just able to kind of turn around and kill me well before I was able to put enough damage on him. So that's one thing to kind of take note, and that's what we see there. Semi-Broth filling in that need that I haven't really had before, but for this game mode, it's really filling in that gap. Alright, so now I got to focus on capturing. This is stuff I'm pretty good at. Come on, here we go. We're moving quick. Woo! Thing is, you really just want to stay on the move here. Able to capture a good amount of points before I was killed there. 2 players were coming in. I probably could have tried to run out and keep moving on, but that's alright. This is kind of a closed map. It's going to be hard to get away for a long time here. You really just want to get points as fast as you can. Alright, slug rounds versus Tesla. Here we go. Looks like he's going to be the collector now. Woo! Able to do a nice good amount of damage from the hip. That's one thing I really like around this actual rifle. This is why I sometimes put a compact stock on it, is because it does do really quite good from the hip. It's got a high enough fire rate to make it work. See that? See that? I lit up the plutonium right there, killed the player. Didn't even have to like do enough damage to him to actually kill him. Just made that work. Oop, getting dangerous here. By dangerous, I mean... Woo! Was able to... My friend came in and I was able to help myself out with a little bit of an elbow right there. It can be hard to put down enough damage. That's the one drawback. It's one drawback. That's why people tend to lean away from the old Teslas. Whoops! Found myself lit up by some plutonium right there. Of course, you could take the same gun and you can actually put pyro on it. If you were to do that, probably standard magazine's the way to go. Get as much DPS out of it as you can. Able to get a semi-broth on him. He's getting lit up. If he doesn't drop it, he's going to have issues. Oop. Time to score some points.
The score is now tied.
Let's see where players are coming from. Looks like he's on me right now. I see players on both sides.
The enemy has scored, and the match is now tied.
That's going to be it. Unless I can really work this one in.
Whoop. One capture remains.
Whoop. Ah! Ah! How about that? That worked out.
The enemy has 2 captures remaining.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Come on, Semi-Broth.
The enemy has you and victory.
Oh, yeah. Good job. All right, so thank you very much, Jack Fraz. That was one of those awesome weapons that I loved to play way back in the day, and it looks like it can still keep up with the modern times here and higher level players. So there you have it. That is the lightning effect, as I call it. It's Mondo Broth. So try it out, guys. Also, Semi-Broth there started to fill in a real interesting niche. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next episode. Peace. Brothgar out.